Hello, I'm Daniel Szabo, and this is the Thursday reading. Peter Morris, Chapter 4, Part 1. He tried not to think too much about the dream. In times like this, he was thankful he had not read Freud. Instead, he remembered Pip, waking up in a trance after seeing in his dream the monster with 1,000 eyes. Memory, monster deprived of meaning. Peter Morris smiled once again. Although he was not hiding from the police, he felt like the hero of Great Expectations, who had no family either. It was one of the rare books Peter Morris had read in its entirety. Pip had been as pathetic as him with girls. He had had one love story, and it had been totally one-sided. Estella had treated him like a dog. Even he, Peter Morris, would not have taken all that. Maybe he could learn from Pip's mistakes. The problem was, he did not even have a relationship with the girl. And he thought he would never fall in love with someone as proud and mean as Estella. Pip had not conquered her heart until the very end of the book, and the final words were not completely clear. But he had made one great friend, Herbert Pocket. Peter Morris had been drawn into the story by the names. Miss Havisham, the shriveled bride whose possessions were sham, and whose Satis house was certainly not satisfactory for her happiness. Magwitch, the convict turned into an Australian good shepherd. The aged one, who lived in an ancient castle-like little house. Jaggers, the lawyer who knew the whole story, but preferred to wash his hands jittily and meticulously. Peter Morris was not a bad name, but there did not seem to be any determinism in it. His name did not mean God is my judge, or the one who will not be eaten by a lion. Of course, there was Peter in the Bible. On that stone I will build my church, arguably the biggest misinterpretation in church history. There was Peter and the wolf, Peter, Paul and Mary, Peter Pan, Peter Falk, Peter Sellers. But Morris? Philip Morris, smoky and not glorious. Well, Philip was Pip's real name. Philip Pirrip. Pipistrello, black piper on an infinitesimal pipe. Maybe he should change his name to Peter Pip. Or Peter Piper. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper, but run rot rhymes. Morris, more rice, my dear Mr. Mouse. Marvelous. Even his name was pathetic. With these names in mind, he started towards the zoo. He had no plan. Find the girl and marry her. Not realistic. Find the girl and talk to her. Tell her you are a painter and you have been painting her incessantly since you saw her. Not her face, though. Maybe she would like the painting. As he reached the zoo, he felt a tremor of excitement. His heartbeat was not as slow as usual. He walked past the monkeys, but did not smile. The lions were indolent. The bears were not dancing. The parrots were not crying. The zoo that could sometimes be so effervescent was filled with an ominous silence, reflecting his inner turmoil. Good. He needed the silence. He needed inspiration. As one may have expected, the figure was there, standing straight, between Peter Morris and the tiger. He still did not know what he was going to do or say. But he rarely did anyway, so it did not scare him. He walked, almost ran, towards the tiger. This time it was Peter Morris, burning bright in the forest of his doubts. Was she going to talk? Would the sound of her voice be soothing? Maybe she was very ugly. He could not tell. He stopped 2 meters behind her. As usual, she did not move. People don't value silence, so they don't value talking or listening. It's just something they do. Finally, he was hearing her voice, and he agreed with the voice. He wanted to shout, "Yes, I agree, I totally agree." But he remained silent. Since they both valued silence, why should they talk? But if they did not talk, he would not really meet her. He had to say something then. Silence is how I understand God. Silence is the proof that there is no God. Bad start. Why did he have to mention God? Was he trying to show off with his pseudo-philosophy? He did not even know what he meant exactly by that. They had been standing there for a few minutes and had exchanged 3 sentences. The blanks between each sentence were so long that for once they were not even uncomfortable. He did not know what to say next and had still not seen her face. He was staring at her long brown hair. She was wearing another skirt or dress, as long as her hair. Blue, most likely denim. With a skirt like that, and with such hair, she had to be beautiful. Now he was quite desperate to see her face. Was she going to turn around? Could he not just jump in front of her? Did she know it was him, Peter Morris, the same person who had talked to her rather rudely almost a fortnight ago? Somehow he felt she knew. There was something mystic about their encounter. She was mysterious. The tiger was there, and Peter Morris felt a presence. If this was not mystic, then nothing was. And what did the tiger think? Was he aware of what was happening? Was anything actually happening? Do you know who I am? Peter Morris finally asked. You're the man who loves this tiger. For once there was no gap between sentences. It was almost like a dialogue. Just when he was not expecting it anymore, she suddenly turned around and offered her hand. He took the hand and shook it clumsily. His painting hands, or painted hands, were of course soiled, but they were soft, very soft. He knew they were, and was sad that people did not shake his hand more often. She did not comment on the hand. My name is Rosie Hazold, but everybody calls me Zoldy. Rosé comes from the French. It means dew. You're supposed to pronounce it like the wine. Only my dad does, though. He loves France. I've never met my real parents. My adopted father is called Noah Blavirmitkov. As his name indicates, he's a real character. His parents were Russian Jews, but he became Reverend Noah after falling madly in love, not with God straight away, but with his future wife, the beautiful Raquel Tilsi. Now that you know everything about me, you can tell me your name. If asked how he felt about this flourish of words, apart from the word bliss, which he did not dare use, he would have picked one of these 3. Flabbergasted, dumbfounded, awestruck. Or maybe all 3 of them. He had expected muted words, a silent detonation at most. He had hoped for a voice that would caress his ears. And now he had her face, her voice, and her words, all at once, as though he had suddenly recovered all his senses after Hitchcockian amnesia. This is the end of Chapter 4, Part 1. See you in a minute for Chapter 4, Part 2.